Are you a property developer or property investor? Join our room. Property Site Finder will solve all your problems. Looking for sites? There'll be agents posting. Looking for finance? There'll be brokers posting. Looking for investors? They're in the room. You just have to start a conversation. The links are below or above. Look forward to seeing you in the room. And we'll kick off on the actual deal itself, if I can find it in the tabs. Here it is. So just looking at transactions. So what I suppose I'm always looking for is land with planning. Rory's looking at more adventurous things than this, and I'm sure you do as well, Nick. But this is one that came across my desk this week sometime. So these are the guys that are promoting it. They've obviously got an instruction. Andy Everett, I'll come to you in a minute because I want to know what your history is, because you saw the post this morning and you said, so they finally got planning on that. But we'll check whether it's actually got planning, because it might be on.
No, planning is pending, isn't it?
Is it? Right. Okay. So you've had a quick look. But what it is some kind of commercial building. What's that say on the side? Cafe? Cars. So it was used as a car office for a number of years. Andy, you probably know this road, don't you? Surely you do.
Yeah. No, I know it very well, and I've been to a site several times actually.
So go on then. Bust in with the history on it. Then what have you seen on this site? Because the stuff around next door to it looks quite tidy.
Yeah, I mean, Sandringham Road is a busy-ish road in Richmond Kew borders. At the end of Sandringham Road leads up to the A316 main road up into London from Richmond, and the other end goes down into Kew Green, which is lovely. I mean, as in Kew Gardens, that sort of neck of the woods. It's quite a busy road, bus route. I mean, single lane road. I mean, it's not dual carriageway. I probably first saw this site, Adrian, I don't know, 7 years ago, and probably look to do something to what they are hoping to get planning on. Yeah, that is the sort of optimum usage of the site that you've got. So, if they can get an approval for that, they will have done pretty well, I think, in Richmond, which is notoriously difficult. If planning is pending, that genuinely could mean next week or in 8 months' time. I mean, I'm not being facetious, but it really could in Richmond Borough. It is. I've been looking at something down on Twickenham Green, and it's just got planning, having been pending planning for about 10 months. No real reason for it, just people flapping about and no one making a decision. But we can get into the nuts and bolts of it, Adrian, but this is a prime example of going to market at a land value that is just absolute madness.
Yeah.
It's hundreds of thousands of pounds out. And we'll run through the numbers and you'll see.
Yeah.
I haven't run the numbers yet. I just know that it's going to be, I think they're asking 1.8 or something. It's going to be.
Well, that's the whole idea.
Half a million quid out, probably at least.
Yeah, but that's the whole, and that's one of the things that we're trying to streamline here. Deals come in, pop them in, and I'll go onto the appraisal tool, just trying to streamline it a little bit, just so that we can quickly assess things. It comes out the other end. Okay, it's worth 1.2, 1.3. Bang, that'll do. You can fire that over. If it sticks and there's a conversation, great. If it doesn't stick, it's you at least you're juggling a lot more balls in that respect, and keeping it going. And just going back to what you said there about planning as well, Andy. I had a quick peep with Rory, and we'll touch on this in the next few minutes. We had a quick peep at the new builds available, because I instinctively went, probably £1,000 per square foot, give or take. Then I did a bit of a map overview, and obviously this picture is positioned very carefully. I can't see the busy road. You can see it's a busy road because it's a trunk road. But then
you've got the train line. You've got the train line behind as well.
Spot on. Right behind it, the train line, which I suppose you can kind of make out here, but it's not immediately obvious. But the picture doesn't obviously. picture, you can tell lies with pictures, and that's what they've done here. So, it's not the best looking, but you've got a little bit of a vision. You've got good looking stock next door, and we can work on that. And then it's done the usual planning paraphernalia. But let's so just look, I know that you guys have all adopted this because I've seen you all using it, but what happens behind the scenes is appraisal engine starts. Let me just get into this. You complete the form. So this is trying to streamline what can be, and myself and Martin have used this appraisal, and Rory indeed now as well. Have used this the appraisal that you'll see in a minute. But when we've shared it with clients on Excel, it often comes back with cells changed, and it tells a completely different story. So we're just trying to streamline that a little bit. And Andy, you made this suggestion, so I just had a purchase price. Well, actually, calculate the land for me, because we often have conversations like that between the pair of us. You can choose whether you want 20%, 22%, or 25%, and then we go about it. GDV, build costs. There's what 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And I'll add more into this as we go, because you probably want a few more nuances in there, like utilities, landscaping, anything else, and just lumping it in with professional fees. But what that should do for you is bring you back an appraisal, which I have ran through the system already. Sandycombe, here we go. Sandycombe Road, Q. So views on numbers. I went with £1,000 per square foot. Does that sound a bit bullish?
It does to me, yeah.
Yeah.
I was working on £900 a square foot.
Okay, not a million miles away, but it is something that we probably have to have a look at. And I obviously targeted around 20% return on cost on that transaction. And what that form did, that form produced this straight away. And this is what will get fired across to you in due course from using that form. And it obviously creates conversations between us. But Rory, can I bring you in here on this if I talk about search land? Let me just across the search land, because we brought it up here before the call, just to have a quick look at it. Please direct me, Rory, on I was asking about new build prices.
So we want to go into the top left hand corner there, the one above that. No, sorry, you've already got it open, mate. Underneath two boxes down. There you go.
Yeah.
Open that up. If you open that menu, time frame, 1 year.
Yeah, 1 year.
So I think if you change that to 5 years, it'll give you a bit of a better visual representation, because I think we had it on new build, didn't we? Yeah.
Yeah, and what that is showing us is how little new build there is in that area.
Can you see Haverfield Gardens on there?
Wow, that's a good point. Actually,
do you remember Haverfield, which is Kew Gardens just around the corner where Andy was mentioning? So that's a collection of 5 houses with basements, with living quarters on the lower ground floor, with a carport, which was marketed by Savills, and was, I think, a collection of 12 garages and an old kind of 1965 looking house full of asbestos, all to get demolished. And then our client got planning. No, sorry, our client bought it with planning through Savills, and the GDV which Knight Frank got in their red book was 12 million quid. And I'm just looking at the appraisal now. It was between £1,050 and £1,090 per square foot on exit.
When was that, Martin?
That was 2023.
Yeah.
But the challenge with these houses is the actual surrounding area of the kind of little cul-de-sacs that's getting generated at the end of Haverfield Gardens. So Haverfield Gardens is a beautiful house, a beautiful street, tree-lined street with Victorian and Edwardian converted houses, some into flats, some into just beautiful houses, extending through the back and lovely gardens, none of which have off-street parking. But that's the game plan down there. That's what people want to buy. Weirdly, people are not looking for sustainably built, new build houses in that area because there's more concessions through planning with these new houses than you have with the existing converted houses, which actually sell for a premium and restrict the liquidity of Haverfield. So on build cost, admittedly, these are houses with basements, so it's slightly different to what you guys are looking at. I think you're looking at 3 townhouses, aren't you? Yeah. But we had £330 a foot, up to £350 a foot with contingency on those houses.
It's not showing. I'd imagine that's not showing on here because it hasn't been delivered yet.
It must be. Maybe it's hitting the market sort of just before the summer because I'm certain they've hit PC now.
Yeah, Adrian, if you go onto that residential comparables tool again on the left hand side and you click residential sales and open that up.
Oh yeah.
Whereabouts is the road? Because you might be able to
have a figure.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'd have to. I wonder if I do. Should I just do a search up here?
Yeah.
Is that right? Haverfield. What was it? Haverfield Gardens, Martin?
Yeah, Haverfield Gardens, Q.
There you go. Gloucester Road.
5 houses.
Yeah. Yeah, there we go. Haverfield Gardens.
This is the very end. Where are you?
On the way.
Yeah, up the top. Yeah, there's the house, and there's the garages.
Yeah.
See the 1965 asbestos? No, that's actually their neighbour.
Oh,
that's the house there. That's the house there. Yeah, and there's the garages behind. So actually, the plot is really big, but relative to the height of the buildings around there, it was a real issue with right of light in terms of delivering these, which is why I think they have to be basement houses to get the space, to get the square footage to make it work. But my only point is, in terms of liquidity with these houses, you're up against Victorian and Edwardian houses, which are large, can become extended when they do the Gordon Ramsay Netflix style sort of living quarters towards the rear with the floor-to-ceiling windows, with the bifold doors out to a gorgeous garden. That's what people are looking for down there. And if your living quarters, specifically on Haverfield, or on a lower ground floor with a beautiful sort of sun garden thing, that's great. But your lower ground floor living, and I actually think even if it's a sustainably built house with an air source heat pump, etc., I still think that your liquidity is hampered by the surrounding area and what people are looking for.
Great site though, isn't it? Look at that, in amongst all that residential area, you've got this lovely little.
But if you look to the actual size of the plots for the 5 houses, it's tiny in relation to the size of that plot because of the right of light and because of what they're able to deliver.
Yeah, I did. And Martin, just on that, actually, is this the client here? Because obviously Rory gets this information all the time. Did they build it? Did they sell it?
Yeah, it's Jonathan and Isla. What's his name again? Isla, Portuguese fella.
Well, yeah, I suppose all the details will be here on the ownership tree behind the scenes as well. But
you'll be able to get the drawings up there, Adrian, if you scroll down, just to get a view on the site plan.
Well, let's stick on the deal that we're on, because this is, I suppose, a different price point, slightly different products as well with the basements. But it's just trying to show a price point to get that price point right. And whilst this gives you an idea,
I think Andy's right going at £900 a foot.
Yeah, and that's kind of what's important here, getting that right. Because if I go back to the appraisal, let's have a quick look. Sandy Combe, look, it gives you a 20% return on cost return, but that is on £1,000 per square foot. So obviously I'll have a play around with that and it will reduce. But that is, so Andy, just going back to your land cost, it's 1.7. It's probably going down to 1.4 in that sort of region.
Is your build cost enough?
Yeah.
1.1 million to build 3 houses.
Adrian, how much are you build costing for per square foot?
I want 200. There you go, £240 per square foot.
It's not enough, Adrian, for that.
Yeah,
it's too low.
The debate here, yeah, kind of. Let's have a view on that.
You need to put the build cost in for this site at £300 a square foot.
Yeah.
Is that a main contractor, Andy?
That'll be a main contractor, yeah. I mean, there may be ways to shave that by splitting it out into, say, groundworks, timber frame, fit out, possibly. It's hard to, you might shave a little bit off that, bring it down to 280 or something, possibly.
Yeah.
It's a very tight site, it's not a lot of room to work with.
Well, let's look at that straight away. If we go with, let's just overwrite this. If we go 4,700 square feet, which I think is the saleable space, and we go 900. Oh, that's my equals. Look what I've done. I've had a 20% return on cost reduced to 3% very, very quickly. So kicking that one out. So that's where we've got to start adjusting the land cost.
By 1.2. That's what Andy said that before he started.
Spot on, Andy. Spot on.
Well, this is an interesting situation because what you're creating is very useful, but then you could bring in layer upon layer upon layer on this. And it's just how detailed you want people to be able to go at a first pass of something, because this has further, an obvious nuance, for example. So this is an old mechanics garage, I think. You're going to have contaminated issues and you're going to have to, so the reality is with pre-build planning conditions, contamination, which will be one of them, you've got to factor in probably at least 6 months from completion to spade in the ground. So if you're working on a 12-month build contract, you're going to have to increase that to 18 plus your 6 months build. And so, and I'm not trying to be a negative Nelly, you know me, I'm a glass half full kind of guy, but it's just a question of how much information